This is a really very exciting unboxing. Welcome to Swatch 150 and a full look at the Swatch Dragon Ball Z limited edition set. There are only 997 of these boxes worldwide, and I can't quite believe that I've got one here to share with you, the latest addition to my Swatch collection. And I think this is also the world's first unboxing in the English language of this set. The set which is the ultimate for the Swatch and Dragon Ball Z collaboration, or Dragon Ball Z, depending where you are. They introduced the first 7 watches a month or two ago, followed up by the arrival of Shenron following the story, but now this set is presented incredibly well with the additional unique touches on the Shenron Watch that I will show you shortly. It is coded SZS35, and here in the UK, to get your hands on one of these was entry through a raffle at the shops, for which over 1,000 people applied per box that was available. That is seriously putting this into perspective. I can't quite believe I've got this here, but let's take a full look at it. The most hyped Swatch product since the introduction of the MoonSwatches, which of course took the world by storm. Now, normally when I'm unboxing a Swatch watch, it's something pretty small we can do on a table, but this time I've had to relocate here at the Museum to be able to open it all up. And of course, Swatch also had to produce some significantly larger bags than they normally do to be able to provide these to customers. So on the box itself, we've just got the logos on the front. This is the outer sleeve, because inside is where we start to see it all. Tell me your wish, one on one side of it, and then we can pull this out where we've got Shenron greeting us on the top. Now, I must confess, I come into this, of course, as a Swatch collector. I'm not the biggest anime fan, Dragon Ball Z fan, but I've started to learn a little bit more about the story so that I have a small idea what I'm talking about, but please don't shoot me if I don't know everything completely accurately. Now, here we've got Shenron on the top, we've got the logos on the end, and we've got Tell Me Your Wish written on both sides, because the idea is once you've collected the 7 Dragon Balls, you can then summon Shenron and make a wish. That's the story behind all of this. So if I open this up, have a look inside, you've got this magnetic flap, and then you've got the 7 Dragon Balls with the limited Shenron watch in the center. Now, this particular set stood out to me because there's something that was a little bit unusual as a collector of Swatch watches I noticed, and then I started looking at more photos to see the exact story behind it. And this set is actually the one that was originally in the flagship store in London, used as the demonstration or presentation one inside a glass box. How cool is that? That it's now the set I have, numbered 746 out of 997. So if you saw this one in the Oxford Street store, that's the set that I've somehow ended up with now. So we've got the 7 Dragon Balls that surround it, and I want to basically go through these a little bit and show you what we've got. So excuse me on the pronunciations and that kind of thing, but let's start up top with the number 1, because these are styled exactly as the Dragon Balls. And like I said, I never really watched Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z. It was never really hugely my thing, so I'm trying to learn it all now. But with these, you untwist them, open them up, and then inside you have the varying different styles of the watches. So the first one we have here is Cell. The Cell watch has a few cues and styling colors and details which again link to the Cell character. This is the Big Bold watch. We have a mixture of gents, new gents, and big bolds between the whole set, with all of the different colors and themes, as Swatch always do brilliantly, to link them to the themes, to the ideas, to make them unique. And they're so bright and colorful and cheery, and that's one thing that obviously stands out to me all the time an awful lot. We then continue from Cell to Freezer is the next one, which is a gent watch, one of the smaller watches. They are a little bit awkward to get out of these plastic cases. The Freezer one is purple and white, again the colors linking to the actual characters in the Dragon Ball Z series. And then we can continue round onwards to number 3, and this is why I needed a big space in front of me, because I'm going to end up with a whole lot of Dragon Ball Z balls in front of me. Number 3 is indeed Majin Buu, just had to double check that one, with the M on the face, I believe is like the design on the belt that Majin Buu wears, but the similar story with the colors on that one. We head on from Majin Buu. Next up, I do know what is next. We have Goku, with Goku written in Japanese on the face. Whoop, that nearly popped off. Gotta hold them carefully. This is another Big Bold. They actually come with the clasps on the back, which mean that they can stay in shape. But this one is proving to be a challenge. It's fighting with me here. And I want to keep these all in very, very nice condition. So let me carefully close this back up and make sure it's pinned in place. There we go. So we've got Goku. Let's put this the right way around. We head on from Goku onto Gohan is the next one. Open up number 5. This is a new gent in the purple. All sorts of bright colors going on. The bright yellow clasp and pieces around the back. And obviously these details, which plenty will notice, match in with the series. For number 6, we move on to Master Roshi. No, this is Vegeta. This is Vegeta that comes up first. The Vegeta one, again, with the almost blood red dial that you have on there. And then lastly, but of course by no means least, is Master Roshi, which is also said as, and you'll have to excuse me for this, Kamisenin, I think. Perhaps I'm wrong. I like that. Even I recognize the character design there, and it's got a very different color scheme, colorway on the back of it as well. Now, we come, of course, from these, all of which you might have seen already because they've been introduced last month, onto the Shenron Watch. Now, the Shenron Watch was presented itself as its own piece, but the Shenron Watch here in the limited edition set is slightly different for a few reasons. It is, again, a Big Bold, and I tend not to collect so much the Big Bolds. I love the new gents and sometimes the gents, but this Shenron Watch that you have here contains some very, very unique things. For example, you have the gold piece around the strap, you have the gold clasp, and you have the gold push button on the side. Otherwise, exactly the same with the 7 Dragon Balls that you have on the face. Of course, once you've collected your 7 Dragon Balls and you've summoned Shenron and you've made your wish, perhaps that wish was to be lucky enough to purchase one of these sets, which I have right here, but I'm certainly going to be looking after this. And I think the way it's presented is so very good. And this is what Swatch absolutely nail, in my opinion, with all of these types of collaborations, whether it's the Peanuts collaboration, whether it's the collaborations with art galleries like the Centre Pompidou or the Museum of Modern Art in New York. There's always a theme and a style, and there's been a thought process behind it, and the packaging, you know, they've produced all of this for fairly limited numbers for these kind of things, as I'm listening to the tinkering and tapping away from the sounds of these various watches as you get. It's really special. It's really cool to have them like this, to have all of the Dragon Balls and to have this particular set. And like I said, for me, for my collection, to have the set that was displayed at the flagship UK store is also like the icing on the cake, like a really, really fun thing to be able to add to it. So I'm going to close all of these up as carefully and delicately as I can, because obviously I want to make sure it all stays in tip-top shape and I don't go and end up kicking them all over the floor somehow, because that would certainly send me running under all of the cars here to go and find them as fast as I can. So the fun behind this is the story, the reason for it, the collection, the designs, the themes, bringing the anime series into the wristwatch, into this fun, colourful, cheery collection of swatches. And this is something I talk about so often here on the channel with my various Swatch watches, and of course hence the Swatch 150 name. But I can't believe that somehow I managed to get my hands on this one, and I love the fact that it's number 746. That is really, really quite fun. No doubt these are going to be trading for a fairly huge premium, I would imagine, because again, demand, hype, craziness and everything, as we saw with the MoonSwatches, as we saw with the collection of those, which I wear pretty much all the time throughout the videos on Shmee 150, the Shmuseum, and of course here on Swatch 150 as well. So yeah, a full look at the Dragon Ball Z Swatch limited edition set that I can't believe I'm lucky enough to now own.